Well, we've got Mr. Ruel Edwards, who is our first guest this morning, of course, Grenada Distillers. Hey, morning and welcome to this morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Let me ask you, Ruel, you ever heard about the plain soup, coconut soup?
Well, I've heard about plain soup. I haven't heard about coconut soup.
Oh, there you go.
I know you put coconut milk in soup. So I would stay on the side of caution with the plain soup.
The plain
with
soup.
Coconut milk.
Well, the thing about it is that Garvey doesn't even know about plain soup.
Really?
He doesn't even know about that, and that's
Well,
a shame. And I guess when he's
sure.
thinking soup, he's just thinking about coconut. Split peas and the other thing.
Yes.
But there is a plain soup where you don't have no pumpkin or no split peas or no that sort of thing. But you put the coconut into it too. But he doesn't know about that at all.
Well, I'm not sure which part of Grenada he grew up.
I know.
But I'm a soup lover. You know,
Right.
I really like the different kinds of soup. It gives me that extra kick for the day. So I prefer the soup than the pie and the other stuff. So
Yeah, but he's a River Road guy.
He's a River Road
I
guy.
don't know if
Well,
that says anything at all.
He should know about soup.
A lot about football.
Or probably broth. He's close to the sea, so he should know about fish and crayfish and jacks and sprat and titiri and all those things. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how things been going with you though? I know at least there was one time when you were in the media field. Did you ever really enjoy your stint in the media field?
Yeah, it was a learning process. I think it was very difficult. It matured me. I think it grew me. It was a lot of work. I think that actually helped in my work ethic because you're on call all the time. I mean, in the media, you go 24/7. So if a transmitter goes down, they need to call you to tell you that a transmitter is down. We ran news at 7, and then you repeat at 10, and you would get varying calls at wee hours in the morning, late in the nights, for issues that were in the news. So I think I really enjoyed it. It gave me a better understanding of Grenada and Grenadians and the markets and how people respond to issues. It helped me understand what makes Grenadian tick. So I think it prepares me for life, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity that I've had to have served in that capacity for 5 years.
You think many people appreciate the hard work and the complexities of the media as a whole?
I'm not sure, and it goes beyond just the media. I think people need to understand, and if people don't understand the level of work that goes into a particular field or a particular work, they may not understand it. For example, you may see Kirani James and he's winning, or he may come second and you think, oh, I wish I could be Kirani James, but you never really understand the level of work that goes behind the scenes. And I think it's the same thing for the media. I mean, you get up early if you're going to be in the newsroom, for example. You're out there covering, you know, from early in the morning, sometimes late into the night. If you're working on radio, you have to be in the studio sometimes 5 every morning. Those things could be tough. Those things could be difficult, and you have to really train yourself to do that. When you see a story that comes out, it takes a long time before you put a story out. You have to go collect that story, write that script, edit that script. You may need to re-edit a couple times, make sure you get it right. Finding the right people to speak to balance the story, etc. It could be quite a challenge. So I think the public has to appreciate that what the media does is very important, but there is also responsibility of practitioners and personnel. I always say that we are the trustee of the public, and they expect us to provide information to them and that are true, that are credible, that they can rely on, because it can shape lives. The media is very influential. So it's important. I think it's very important for us to have a mature audience, but so to the practitioners in the media to grow and to develop and to continue to do their best in all that they can.
I would suspect though that your whole experience working in the media would have now served to help you in your present responsibility, that new avenue that you are in at the Grenada Distillers. It has, I would think.
Most definitely, apart from just the relationships that you have, so that you can call the media and you can say to them, well, you know, you're doing this, and they respond to you in a favorable way. You understand the importance of advertising, of marketing, and so knowing that, we try to work along with the media to ensure that our message get outside there, as well as preparing yourself for public response opinion. Being in GBN when I was there, I accumulated close to 15 newspaper articles. I've stored all of them.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
Interesting that, yes.
You know, when my daughter is of a particular age, I'm able to show her and say, these are the things they said about your daddy. But on a serious note, it prepares you for dealing with the public. And being in Grenada Distillers, there are times in which you would have to engage the public. They may be harsh on you at times, they may be supportive, but because I've gone through that stint in the media, I know how to read.
Okay.
I'm very comfortable in front of the camera, and more or less you prepare yourself that people respond because they're passionate about a particular subject. They may be justified, they may not be justified, but that's their viewpoint. And the role of the media really is to bring across people's viewpoint as well. So that has allowed me to be able to digest people's viewpoint, take it in, not take it to heart, and respond the best way I can.
Yeah, so what some of the things that you do at Grenada Distillers?
Well, overall, I'm responsible, accountable to the board of directors, of course, but I'm responsible for the total administration of across all functions. So our production functions, our sales and marketing functions, our human resource functions, our accounting functions. The entire range of things that are done at Grenada Distillers falls under me. Of course, we have managers who are expertise in their own right and in their own field, but somebody has to coordinate, somebody has to lead the team, somebody has to provide that sense of motivation, transmit the vision from the board down to the team, break it down into manageable objectives that they can work towards, and just provide that sense of security and a safe hands. You need to be steady as a manager. Your hands need to be steady, going through difficult times, going through good times, so at least you're not making harsh decisions and out of emotions, but you're able to rationalize things. So my role at Grenada Distillers encompass all of those, to really push the team and to work with the team and to develop the human capital that we have in terms of trying to achieve the objectives as the organization set them.
Good. And what are some of the things that you do in terms of your product and activities?
Yeah, well, we do a number of we continually work to improve our products. So recently we were awarded what is called the Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point, and I have the certificate here to show the public. So that process more or less would have taken us through a period where we would have analyzed our production processes, we would have looked at our products, we would have refined our products, we would have put in control mechanisms in place, we would have written standard operating procedures to ensure that the process that goes through is safe and is good for human consumption. Yes, we're dealing with alcohol, but and you can get away with a couple of things when you're dealing with alcohol, but you want to ensure that you do it the best way possible and that people can consume it and it's a safe product. So in terms of working with our products, we try to ensure that we continually refresh our brands, we come out with new designs, we continue to improve, but at the same time we produce a product that can be enjoyed in a safe manner.
So your product in fact has been given high marks in terms of hygienic situation and all of that. What are some of the details in terms of making sure that high standard are really kept? Because it's not just you alone. You've got other workers who obviously have to understand what your standards really are, and also the standards of the entire company as a whole.
Yeah, well, the nice thing about it is that it's not a one-off initiative. This process that we've gone through to receive the food safety certificate has been endorsed from top to come down. And when I say top, I'm speaking primary board level, so led by our chairman, Mr. Leroy Nichols, supported by the other members of the board. They would have given the green light. They would have endorsed the process. They would have agreed that the vision of the company is to implement a food safety system. So when you have that top level support, it naturally trickles down through the organization. My role as a general manager was to take that broad vision of having a food safety system and to roll that out throughout the entire organization. So what we've done is to itemize every single process that we go through, and we've over 55 standard operating procedures. So everything that we do is done on paper. What that means is that every staff would have been trained to understand the objective, to have that same passion, to have that same zeal, to share in the vision of producing a safe product. So we have that training mechanism throughout the entire organization. We do refreshers all the time. So just yesterday, the entire management team, we sat in a webinar for an hour and a half just going through what is called food traceability as a form of refreshing ourselves, our current standings and our current knowledge. So after we've written all those procedures, what we've done, we've trained staff to make sure that they do it the same way and they do it right all the time. And then we had an independent auditor that came from GIS, which is a certifying body. They had offices in Switzerland. They have over 1,700 offices throughout the world. They have over 75,000 employees. They've been in operation for over 130 years. They are the largest food safety certifying body in the world. So very credible. They came and they did an independent audit for your documents, because you're supposed to have a document to show everything. So they reviewed our documents. We would have had to have made amendments in some instances. Then they left, they gave you a chance to correct those, and then they came back and ensure that what you say you are going to do is what you're actually doing. So what we can do today as a company is to say, here, there is a company in Grenada amongst a few who is determined to produce a good quality product and to abide by it all the time, and that's what we've done.
In terms of this whole monitoring system, because within your company you obviously have to have a very strict eye, a very keen eyes on all your workers and make sure that they do it right. That could be a tedious task, or does it really flow nice and well?
It's both. It's very tedious. Sometimes it flows nice and well. You're dealing with human beings, and what you find is that human beings ever so often, if you do not monitor, they may go to their own devices. So we've reorganized the company, and we have what is Lab and Quality Control Department, and that Lab and Quality Control Department is like the police. They are the watchdog in the organization. Their primary role is to ensure that the quality of the product is never compromised at no time at all. So they are independent department. They report directly to me, and they are the ones who continually audit every other department. They audit the environment. So for example, we do what is called a sanitation walkthrough, where every single day a member from the Lab and Quality Control Department will walk through the entire organization, not just looking at safety issues, but looking at cleanliness, looking at sanitation control, so that at least when somebody visits our plant, or when an employee moves from one department to the next, as you walk around, you would be operating in a good environment. You feel clean, you feel safe. But not only that, the products that we produce, people can have the confidence that it's been produced under sterile conditions, it's been produced under clean conditions, and you could be comfortable enough to consume a product knowing that there are no toxic elements inside of it, there are no contamination inside of it, and once done, then we think we've met one of our obligations, which is to ensure that people can responsibly consume a very safe product.
And what would this certification and award, so to speak, what would it do and say for the company?
Right. Well, a good example is to look at what is called the Food and Safety Modernization Act. The U.S. government, the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, they've passed a new regulation known as the Food Safety Modernization Act that requires every single company or every single individual who wishes to import food into North America to have some level of food safety system from a globally recognized food safety institution. It means that for us at Grenada Distillers Limited, we do export into North America, primarily into Miami. We are working on the New York, the New Jersey, etc. And this product here is a sample of a product that we've done for Luther Campbell. Luther Campbell, he's an entertainment artist in Miami, so we've done this for him. Without that food safety system, you will not be allowed to enter any product into the United States. Now, aspects of it have already been enforced, other aspects will be enforced. So it means if you cannot prove to the US government that you have a food safety system in place, they will not accept your products. So from Grenada Distillers' perspective, we want to be proactive because we understand the impact that our company can have on the local economy by way of jobs and contribution to other sectors, the electricity, fuel, etc. And we know that the capacity of the company cannot be absorbed from the local economy, because we're just too big. We have to export to be able to sustain the level of employment that we want to have, etc. And the US, for us to export, you have to be into the US. And getting into the US, you have to meet certain criteria. Going off on a tangent a little bit, it will not only affect Grenada Distillers, but that regulation would affect every company, from those who export fresh fruits and vegetables and other things across the board. Once you want to export into the US, anything that is consumable, you'd have to meet those standards. So we've been proactive, and we've tried to take in front and to be ahead of the game.
Of course, you bring example of the US market, but what about European countries and other countries? How much does this have, your certification here? how much does this impact, or you more restricted to the U.S. market?
No, well, we are into the US, we are into Canada, we are
Okay.
also into UK. We are working on the European market, passing through Germany, of course, under the Economic Partnership Agreement. All those markets have their standards.
Okay.
The US is a lot stricter, if I can put it that way, in terms of enforcing food safety for multiple reasons. But Canada, the United Kingdom, Germany, Europe, you have to meet the lab requirements.
Okay.
So the food safety system, as we've had, it helps across the board. It makes it a lot easier to get into those markets because you can put up your certificate and say, hey, internationally accepted standards for food safety. And so your products are received a lot better. They treat you with a little bit more respect and a little bit more courtesy. But primarily in terms of hard enforcement, you're looking at more of the US.
And in terms of your product themselves, how well received have they been? Because I mean, your products are coming out from a small country.
Yeah.
It's not like a Jamaica or Trinidad. It's one of those little 133 square mile countries.
Yeah.
How popular, how respect really are our products coming out from Grenada Distillers?
Yeah, well, we've demonstrated that it doesn't matter what your size is, but quality counts, and I think again, Kirani is a good example.
Okay.
That quality is what counts, and not the size of a nation. I remember, I think I actually heard it from you one morning that we, in terms of the the gold medal. And the size per capita, our gold medal might mean more than somebody else that is a lot bigger. So from a Grenada Distillers perspective, size has not really impacted the quality of the rum. We've been producing very, very good rums. And I say this from the perspective that we enter what is called international wine and spirits competitions all over the world. In Austria, in UK, in San Francisco. We had one throughout the Caribbean called the Caribbean Rum and Beer Festival. And what those competition has shown us is that we can stand up with the big boys, with the Bacardis and the Diageos and the Angosturas from Trinidad and the Mongays from Barbados and the other rums from Guyana. And over the last years, we have accumulated over 107 different international awards. Yeah.
Oh, that's quite impressive, isn't it?
Yep. We enter rums into various categories. So, for example, in the light rum category, we have a product called Superior Light, and we were able to receive a double gold for that product. What it means is that product doubled everybody else in terms of quality. So it would have beat back the Bacardi Lights, and it would have beat back all the big guys. The big guys, they can mass produce, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they can produce rum better than us in Grenada. So in terms of the products receiving international awards and recognitions, that has really helped us. It has worked, and what it has done is that international players and international people have an interest in our rum. What we needed to do was to put systems in place to say to those international customers that what we're providing is a safe product. So this year is a forerunner for us being able to go and take advantage of the international opportunities that we have.
What, and I'm probably struggling to ask this question, what makes rum a good rum, if you want to put it that way? No, I've never drank rum before, so I can't say I know how it tasted.
Yes.
I drank one beer back in 1978, so I can't say, I don't think I remember how the Heineken beer tasted. I never drank a carrot before. But what makes it what you will call a good rum?
Okay, I'll break it up for you. There are different categories of spirits or rum, if you want to put it that way. People have different preference. So you have what is called a very strong rum, like our pure 69% alcohol by volume, very, very, very strong. Or you have an aged rum that you put in a barrel for 8 years, 12 years, and 5 years. Then you have flavored products like this here passion fruit rum. This is a flavored product. Okay, you have the mojito, the coconut. So different people would say this is a good rum and this is not a good rum based on their preference. But basically, what makes a rum a good rum is it's what is called its congeners. The congeners are the taste, the smell, how the rum swirls around in the glass, whether or not it's clean, whether or not it has heavy bacteria. So you use all those things to define a good rum. But for our standards, to basically explain it, the sweeter the aroma in terms of the niceness of the smell, the smoothness of the taste as it goes down, that sort of a lingering effect. Because it's like when you taste, let's suppose you taste a good ice cream, a sauce up ice cream. It's like after you bring it down and it goes on, it's like, wow. that was good. That sort of thing that makes rum a good rum. But outside of that, there are some things that needs to be noted, that just like you can have water that is contaminated, you can have rum that is not fit for consumption.
Okay.
Just like you have anything else that may have bacteria, you can have rum that is not fit for consumption. What the HACCP certificate does is that it helps us to ensure that our products are always fit for consumption. So for example, sometimes you smell alcohol and it's a smell. You know, it means that may have some elements in it that is not very good for you.
Okay, any final details you want to give us? Sort of running out of time, Ruel?
Yeah, well, basically what we want to say is that the HACCP certificate that we've achieved in at Grenada Distillers is not just for Grenada Distillers, but this is a moment that all Grenadians should be proud of, to know that a locally owned company with local management can rise to the occasion in a very short space, in a year and a half. It's only 17 months it took us to be able to achieve an internationally recognized food safety system certificate. You have many companies, big companies. For example, after we've done this, a bigger company than us in St. Lucia has been calling us to find out, okay, who is it you've worked with to be able to achieve this certificate, because they've had it and then they lost it and now they're struggling to get it back. So what it shows is that we could be proud of what we do. We're hoping that this can encourage other manufacturers, not just in the rum industry, but other players in the food industry to improve on your go about and get some level of certification to show that what you do is authentic. This is going to help us compete. It's going to allow Grenadians to feel proud that what we produce are safe products, and it means that we'll be able to export more. And if we're able to export more, then the benefit to the economy and companies is going to be a lot more. So we're very happy at Grenada Distillers to have been able to achieve that. As I've said, it has been endorsed and led from the front, which is the chairman's vision when he took over the company. He took over a company that was dilapidated, equipment outdated, and over the last 12 years have really invested substantially in technology, in equipment, and in staff. And all those things are now beginning to pay off. So we're extremely pleased with that sort of achievement.
Right, Ruel, and thanks for popping by here this morning and talking to us. And I believe in high standards, and I think in everything that you do, you've got to make the standards as high as possible. Yes. Thanks a lot for popping by. All the best and best wishes in your career and your company and everything like that.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, so we're just speaking there with Mr. Ruel Edwards, Grenada Distillers. And don't go away, because we've got much more coming up.